Good morning, students. Am I audible? Can you hear me, everybody? Please wave the hand. Let me know whether I am audible to you. Okay, fine. So we'll be starting soon. Waiting for the participants. I could see only 51 participants till now, 53. So I may wait a few more seconds. After that, we will start. Okay, let us begin. In the last class, we saw the poem John Brown, which we have already seen that it's a ballad. We know the meaning of ballad. Ballad is a story narrated in the form of a poem. That's what we have already seen in the last class. And we also saw John Brown's mother was very happy to send his son or to see his son as a soldier in his uniform, holding the gun in his side. Then we saw he went to the battleground and his mother used to get the letters occasionally. Now it ceased, letters ceased to come. No more letter she received for a longer period of time. And after 10 months or more, she receives a letter stating that her son is returning back and asking her to reach to the railway station in order to receive her soldier son. And she goes to the railway station. She searched for her son everywhere and she was not able to find her son at all. At last, when all the passengers moved from the platform, she was able to find her son over there, but mother could not even recognize her own son because he lost one of his hands, he lost his eyes in the battleground, and he had a metal framework in order to support his body because he was unable to stand erect. He was not able to stand straight at all without the metallic framework. And mother asked her son, what really happened to you? Then the son says, that is what we have seen in the last class. Once again, let us move on to stanza number 8, where mother asked her son, I pray you, my darling son, what happened to you? How you reached into this situation? Then he responds to his mother stating that, don't you remember, 9th stanza, don't you remember, ma, when I went off to war, you thought it was the best thing I could do. When I went to the battleground, you were extremely happy and you felt that this was the greatest thing that I was able to do. In order to make you happy, you were so pleased, but you really did not understand what has happened over there in the battlefield. That is what he says in the next part. I was on the battleground. I was suffering all the pains and the troubles over there in the battleground. You were home acting proud. At the same time, you are feeling very proud to be the mother of a soldier. The soldier's son was undergoing all the torture, all the pains, all the sufferings over there in the battleground. And mother feels extremely proud that her son is a soldier. And the next part he says, I was on the battleground, you were home acting proud. You wasn't there standing in my shoes. I wished that you were in my place. You really understand what the troubles a person undergoes when he is in the battlefield. Up to there, we have seen in the last class. So he is giving answer to the question that his mother asked him. Mother asked, tell me, my son, my darling son, my dear son, tell me what really happened to you. In response to that, he was giving answer to, he was responding stating that you were very happy to see me as a soldier son, your son as a soldier. You were very proud when I went to the battleground, expecting that your son is fighting for a good cause. You are very happy to feel that. You are very proud. but you really did not understand what takes place over there in the battleground. You were feeling proud where I was undergoing a lot of pain over there in the battleground. He continues, stanza number 10. Oh, and I thought when I was there, God, what am I doing here? I am trying to kill somebody or die trying. But the thing that scared me most was when my enemy came close and I saw that his face looked just like mine. Further, he explains what he saw over there in the battlefield. He says that from here we have to start today. Oh, and I thought when I was there means I thought when I was there in the battlefield. When I was in the battleground, he says, God, what am I doing here? I started reflecting over there. What am I really doing? I thought of thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? I am trying to kill somebody or die trying. I am trying to kill someone. This is what I am doing over here in the battleground. A soldier's duty is to fight against the enemy. I am trying to kill someone or die trying. I am trying to die in the sense that somebody else would be shooting me. Either I will die or I will be killing somebody else. This is what I am doing in the battlefield. He started recollecting about what he does over there in the battleground. He says, oh God, what am I doing? A great thought that came into the mind of the soldier boy. He thinks, what am I doing? Either I am trying to kill myself, to be killed by some other soldiers, or I am trying to kill someone else. This is what a soldier does over there in the battleground. That is what he says, oh my God, what am I doing? A realization that comes to the mind of the soldier boy. Either I am trying to kill somebody else, or I am trying to kill myself. Kill myself in the sense that I will be killed by some other soldiers, enemy soldier. This is what the reality of war is. I am trying to kill somebody or die trying to die. But the thing that scared me the most was, and the point that scared him, the greatest point was when my enemy came close and I saw that his face looked just like mine. The moment the enemy soldiers approached me, I looked at him and I found that he is almost similar to myself. His appearance is like mine. He is almost like my kinsman. We belong to the same category of human race. Whom am I going to kill? That is what the realization he gets. He gets the realization he is going to kill somebody who resembles him, who is almost like him, and that scares the soldier boy a lot. That is the greatest scary feeling that he experiences there. We saw a kind of thought that came to him in the beginning of the stanza. We saw, what am I doing? Either I am trying to kill somebody or I am trying to be killed by someone else. This is what is the reality of war. And the greatest scary thought that came to him is the moment he saw his own enemy who resembles exactly like him. How can he be my enemy? When he is resembling almost like he has my own appearance, like that of my appearance. In that case, how can he be my enemy? That is the thought which comes to the mind of the soldier boy here. Let us go to the stanza explanation, stanza number 10 in the workbook. John said that when he was on the battlefield, he wondered what he was doing there, trying to kill somebody or die doing so. Either he is killing somebody or he is going to be killed by someone else. He got frightened when the enemy soldier came and stood in front of him. The moment he looked at the enemy soldier who came and stood in front of him, which frightened him, he got scared. He find his face resembled him. He find the face of his enemy almost having a resemblance of his own face. There was no difference. It scared him and made him think in what way he was his enemy and why he should kill him. That is the thought comes to his mind. The moment he looks at the enemy soldier, he says he is the enemy soldier almost resembling like him. How can he be my enemy? That is the thought comes to the mind of the soldier boy, that is John Brown here. How can he be my enemy? Which way he is an enemy to me and why he should kill him? Why should I kill him? What harm has he done to me? He resembles exactly like that of mine. And why should I kill him? That is the thought which comes to the mind of John Brown in the moment he sees his enemy very close to him. Hope you are clear. Let us move on to the next stanza. Okay, again we come across a repetition there. Oh Lord, just like mine. Figure of speech repetition. We have already seen, in order to stress some point, poet repeat something here. The phrase, a phrase is being repeated. So the repeated phrase over here is, oh God, just like mine. His appearance is just like mine. And I couldn't help but think, through the thunder rolling and sting, that I was just a puppet in the play. And through the roar and smoke, the string is finally broke and a cannonball blew my eyes away. He was in that deep thought, and I couldn't help but think. I could not think anything. My thought was filled with how this person can be my enemy, who has got almost my similar appearance. How can I consider him as my enemy? This is what his mind was filled with. Once again, and I couldn't help but think, through the thunder rolling, even though the loud noise was going on, loud noise of the gun here, that is what the thunder rolling here, the noise of the gun, he is in the battleground. So many soldiers are fighting each other, and he hears the sound of the thunder rolling. The thundering sound of the guns was visible, audible to him, and the sting and the foul smell. The battleground is filled with the foul smell. Maybe the smell of the blood of the soldiers, maybe the smell of the dead bodies, maybe the smell of the sulfur. So many things are there in the battlefield, in the battleground, and the battleground is totally filled with the smell as well as the thunder rolling. Amidst that, he says that I was deeply involved in the thought. What was his thought? He was preoccupied with the thought that they are killing one another. That is what the thought which was filled with the mind of John Brown. I'm killing my own kinsman. I'm killing somebody who is almost resembling like my shape. And how can he be my enemy? What way he has done harm to me? That was the thought he was preoccupied with. He forgets what his duty here is. The duty of a soldier is to fight against the enemy. He forgets that because his mind is preoccupied with only one thought, which way he is my enemy. He resembles exactly like me. And how can I consider him as my own enemy? That is the thought his mind was preoccupied with. Amidst the thunder, the sound of the gun, as well as the sting. Sting means the foul smell that was there in the battlefield. That I was just a puppet in the play. Another thought which comes to his mind is, I am a puppet in the play. Puppet in the play over here means, I do not know whom am I killing and why am I killing that person. I am just a puppet. The rulers order me to fight, and I go to the battleground and I fight. I do not know the reason behind. A soldier may not be knowing what is the reason that he is fighting against his enemy. I am just a puppet in the hands of the rulers. That is what he feels over here. I don't feel to kill anyone. I'm just acting as a puppet. I don't have my own way of thinking. Somebody told me to kill my enemy and I am killing there. So I am exactly like a puppet in the hands of the rulers. That is what he feels. This was a thought which was filled in his mind. That I was just a puppet in the play. Again, alliteration, no, puppet in the play. Repetition of P. The figure of speech is alliteration here. Consonant sound P is repeated there. That I was just a puppet in the play, and through the roar over here means the loud sound that is produced over there in the battleground, and the smoke, the string is finally broke, and the string of the gun was finally broke out, and a cannonball flew my eyes away. Cannonball over here means gun. A gun took away my eyes. And he was preoccupied with the thought in his mind that was going on. We are the puppets in the hands of the rulers. That was the thought he was preoccupied with. He forgot about what his duty is. His duty was to protect himself and fight against his enemy. That role he has forgotten now because his mind is preoccupied with the thought of we are the puppets in the hands of the rulers. They ask us to do something. They ask us to kill somebody and we are doing that. We are really the puppets. That was the thought he was totally involved in, and that was the time his enemy made use of his cannonball, that is the gun, and that it took away his eyes. He is narrating the story. Mother asked him, what really has happened to you? He is narrating the entire thing. In the beginning, we know that he was not able to speak anything. He tried to make the movements of his lips, but it was impossible for him to move his lips at all. He was unable to speak. Such was the pain that he was undergoing. Now he is able to speak. With a full of difficulty, he speaks and he narrates everything what really happened over there in the battleground. He says that I looked at my enemy And I felt, how can that person be my enemy? Because he resembles exactly like me. How can he be my enemy? What harm he has done to me? No harm the person has done to me. And I was in the deep thought that we are the puppets. We soldiers are the puppets in the hands of the rulers. They ask us to do something and we kill the people. We are merely like the puppets. That was the thought he was deeply involved in. And that was the time a cannonball from the enemy took away his eyes. Let us move on to the stanza. On realizing the kinship, yes, somebody is Akash Shukla. Yes, Akash.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, please can you explain that stanza once more?
The entire stanza.
That I couldn't help out.
I couldn't help but think. I was unable to do anything other than this thought in my mind. Did you get the meaning over here? Actually, being a soldier, his duty at the present moment is not to think about anything, fight against his enemy. That is what the duty of a soldier is. But I couldn't do anything other than that. I was unable to fight over there because my mind was filled with the thought of this particular thought. Why am I killing him? I do not know the reason. When I do not know the reason, why am I killing the person who is standing in front of me? I am really a puppet in the hands of somebody else. That is what his thought was. He was preoccupied with that thought, and that is the exact moment the enemy attacked him, which took away his eyesight.
So fourth and fifth line.
Fourth and fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4. And through the roar and smoke, roar over here means the roaring sound, the sound of the guns. See, the battlefield, he is not fighting with anyone now, fighting against nobody now, because his mind is preoccupied with only one thought. But the rest of the soldiers, they are fighting over there in the battleground. That is what the sound over here means. And through the roar over here means the loud sound produced over there in the battlefield. Maybe the sound produced by the gun, maybe the explosion of the bomb. All those produce the sound. That is what the loud roar and the smoke. Automatically, you know that when a bomb is being exploded, a lot of smoke takes place over there in the battlefield. Amidst the smoke, as well as the loud noise, this string is finally broke. This string over here means the string of somebody else. That is someone made use of his cannonball. That is the gun. Somebody made use of the gun and the bullet took away my eyesight. That is the way he lost his eyesight. That is what he narrates to his mother. Are you clear of it, Akash?
Sir, this string is finally broke. What does it mean?
This string over here means the string of a gun. When the person pulls the gun, the string of the gun, that when the enemy pulled it, automatically what happened? The bullet came out and that took away my eyesight. I lost my eyesight from my enemy's gun. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you,
Akash.
sir.
Then Richa, please ask.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Richa.
Sir, did you want to say that the person was looking exactly like him, means appearance?
The person was?
Sir, did he want to say that the person was looking exactly like him?
Person was looking exactly at the string you are talking about.
No, sir. The person standing in front of him was exactly looking like him.
Resembles him, no? Another human being. That is what the simple meaning of it. The one whom am I fighting with is another human being. And he does not know the reason behind. Resembles him over here means we all the human beings resemble one way or the other. So that person resembles me. So why should I kill him? I do not know the reason. What fault has he done? The soldier doesn't know. That is what in the next part he says, we are the puppets in the hands of the show, in the hands of the rulers. Resembles him in the sense that another one is also a human being. The enemy who is standing in front of me is another human being. Why should I kill him? What wrong has he done to me? Did you get Richa?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let us proceed further then. The next stanza. Okay, let us see the stanza explanation. On realizing a kinship. Kinship over here means a relationship. Relationship in the sense here, different human beings. With the enemy soldier, John could not help thinking in the midst of the continuous gun roar, in the middle of continuous gun roar and sting. Sting means a foul smell, that he was just a puppet in the show. He just realizes, I'm a puppet in the show. I'm a puppet in the hands of the rulers, controlled by someone from afar. Afar means far away. Somebody from far away asked me to go to the battleground and I am there. But I did not know the reason behind why am I fighting with my enemy. I did not know the reason behind it. The reason is known only to the person who sent me over there in the battlefield, who is very far away from me. Therefore, he says, I am a puppet in the hands of somebody else. At that time, in the loud noise and smoke, he failed to play his part. He failed to play his part means his part was to fight against his enemy because he is a soldier. He failed to play his part and a cannonball took his eyes away. These lines clearly expresses anti-war sentiments. Soldiers are mere puppets. They kill or get killed without knowing what the cause they were fighting for. They do not know exactly the cause for which they are in the battlefield. They are in the battleground. Somebody far away has asked me or directed me to go to the battlefield, and I am here and I am fighting over here in the battleground. They do not know exactly what the reason behind the fight is. Therefore, he says, as a soldier, I am a puppet in the hands of someone who is directing me from far away. And the last stanza. As he turned away to work, he turned away to work, his ma was still in shock at seeing the metal brace that helped him stand. But as he turned to go, he called his mother close and he dropped his medals down into her hand. Ultimately, let's see what happened. As he turned away to work, he narrated everything what happened to him in the battleground. That is what his mother asked him. My darling son, tell me what happened to you. What have they done to you? That is what mother asked. And he has narrated everything what has really happened over there in the battlefield. He has completed his narration. After that, let's see, as he turned away to work and he felt that he must move away from his mother because he has narrated or he already shared what he wanted to share to his mother. As he turned away to work, his mom was still in shock. Mother was still in a shock. Why she was in shock? At seeing the metal brace that helped him stand. She looked at the metal brace that is to support his body. We already know that he was not able to stand erect. He was not able to stand straight at all. He needed support. A metal brace supported him. Mother is still staring at it. She is still confused. She was just staring at that. But he turned to go. But the soldier decided to move away. But as he turned to go, he called his mother close. He asked his mother to come closer. As he was about to go, after having narrated the story, he asked his mother, who was staring at the metal brace that supported the body of his son. He called his mother to come close to him. And as mother reached closer to him and he dropped his metals down, he put all the metals down into her hands. He threw all the metals, whatever medals he was able to gain over. That is what mother told him in the beginning. Obey the captain and you will be getting so many medals and we will be decorating our house with these medals that you bring from the battle. After the battle, that is what mother felt about. Mother was feeling proud about. And the son is throwing everything into the hands of the mother. He realizes that there was no need for him to go over there in the battlefield. It indicates his disgust towards war, a strong disgust at the apparent glory of war. Apparent glory, seeming glory of war. It doesn't have any glory in reality at all. Therefore, all the awards or all the medals that he got, he threw into the hands of his mother as he realizes that war was meaningless. That is why we call this poem as an anti-war poem. Okay, let us move on to the stanza. Last stanza's explanation. John turned away to walk. His mother was still in a shock. She continued to stare at the metal brace around his waist that helped him stand up. As he turned to go, he called the mother to come closer. As she did so, he dropped his medals down into her hands. I don't find any meaning with these medals at all. That is what the soldier boy, John Brown, feels now. These medals are the symbol of so-called glory won in the war. But the price paid for these medals is too high. The price that the soldiers pay for winning these medals are very high. They are sacrificing their own life. Here we happen to know that he lost his eyesight. He lost one of his hands. The poet thus Debunks. Debunks means exposes the foolishness of war. That's the meaning of debunks here. He exposes the foolishness of something is the meaning of the word debunks. Here, the foolishness of the notion of romantic attractiveness of war. War is being romanticized. He is against that. War is being idealized, and the poet is just against that. The soldier boy here, John Brown, is against that. Therefore, he finds no meaning in winning all the medals. Therefore, he threw it into the hands of his mother. And that is the end of the poem. Hope you are clear of the poem. If something to be clarified, you can ask now. If not, we will be going through the project works now. As I told in the last class, we will be completing one more poem. Okay, in the next period, I'll take one more poem. After having completed that poem, we will be starting the drama, the play, that is The Tempest. Okay, so 2 short stories we have already completed, and 1 poem is already complete. 1 more poem I'll be completing. After that, we will begin the play, that is The Tempest. All right. So now, have you to ask something? I hope nobody's hand is up. So I'll just explain how to write your project. See, your project is very, very important. We do not know now what will happen. The situation is still we are undergoing in the pandemic situation. Anything can happen. So the council decision may depend upon the project work that you are already preparing in class 11 as well as in class 12. So you have to do it very seriously. You have sufficient time. Okay, you will be submitting the project file in the month of December. I suppose December 10th is the last date given to you to submit your project file. You have so many months to complete it. But what I wanted to tell you is some subjects like English where the syllabus is already completed. You can start completing it. You can start doing your work so that you may not have a great burden in the days of the last days before submitting the project. You have sufficient time now. So make use of these days in order to complete your project files of the subject which you are able to complete. For example, English you are able to complete because we have completed both the lessons. The topic that is given for is already completed. So you will be able to do that. Therefore, I thought of asking you how to prepare your project file. So sometime I'm going to spend on it. So let's see. See, from the beginning, I'm going to tell you what are the points that you will have to strictly follow. Okay. Because last year, many students had made so many mistakes at different places in the project file, and we had to call them here in the school to rectify them. Because your project file is not checked by the subject teacher, it will be evaluated by the visiting examiner, a teacher from some other school. So we have a responsibility to make our project perfectly well, that the teacher will be forced to give you 10 out of 10. 10 marks will be given by the subject teacher, and the other 10 marks will be given by the visiting examiner. Visiting examiner will be somebody else coming from some other school. We do not know who will be coming to our school. That is decided by the council. So we have no role over there. Anybody who comes over there must feel to give you 10 out of 10. All right. So all of you got your file. Now I'm talking from the side of the file itself. So the first part is the top of the file to be filled. There are certain points to be filled over there in the top of the file. The first part there is assignment or project in. A big column is a square bracket is given over there. Okay, so where it is mentioned as assignment or project in, there you will be writing English 2 and in bracket English literature. What is to be filled there is English 2 and in bracket English literature. Must know the spelling of literature, please. English 2 in bracket English literature. Just below that, name, and it is very clearly specified on the file, write in block letters. It's mentioned on the file itself, write in block letters. You have to write your name in capital letters. It has to be written in capital letter. And before I proceed, let me tell you, make use of a marker pen. Please do make use of a marker pen to fill the top part of the file. When you write with the normal pens, it may not be very clearly visible. Therefore, make use of either a blue or a black marker pen so that whatever you write on the top of the file, because file is in different colors, so it will be well visible if you make use of a marker pen, and therefore I advise all the students to make use of a marker pen to fill the top of the file. So the first part is assignment or project in. There you will be writing English 2. Both you have to write there. Okay, English 2 and in bracket English literature. The name in capital letters. The next part is class, section and roll number. So write your class 11, section A, B or C, whichever section you belong to, and roll numbers. Roll numbers you will be getting, your class teachers will be giving you the roll numbers soon. Maybe after a week, 11th class will be giving the roll numbers, maybe after 1 or 2 weeks. Therefore, don't fill that part now. That you fill only when you get the final roll number list. Then the next part is subject. Again, you will write English 2 there. There you need not write again literature, which you have already mentioned there in the top part. So therefore, there you will be writing only English 2. The other part, the square was very big in size. Therefore, you are able to write English 2 as well as English literature in bracket. Here, a small dash is placed there. Therefore, you will be writing there only English 2, nothing else. And session is 2021-2022. That is what the academic session you are in, no? 2021-2022. 2021, then a hyphen 2022. These are the only things that you have to write on the top of the file. These are the places that you have to fill, and all the places are to be filled. All the places are to be filled by each and every student. Then as we proceed to the front page, the first page of the file, you have already got the list of printed pages over there. So take the first printed pages, first printed page. There also the same point is mentioned there, assignment or project in. So you will be filling there English literature or English 2. If there is enough space, write both English 2 in bracket English literature. The printed page I am talking about. The next point is topics. We have 2 topics. Therefore, first you write 1 and you write what the topic is. The first topic given is, what is a ghost story? How is Fritz, an unusual ghost story, illustrate? Comment on the ending of the story, Fritz. Your answer should not exceed 700 words. That is what the instruction given to you. If you feel that in order to create more and more impression to the visiting examiner as well as your subject teacher, you wanted to make it very creative, you have that complete freedom with you. Okay, if you feel that my topic may be reaching to 1,000 words, no issue, okay, but you can try to stop it by 700 words. And if you wish some ghost pictures are to be fixed over there, all those creativity is welcome. First you will write what Fritz ghost story is. You can refer from anywhere, you can refer from the net, you can refer from different textbook, everything is your choice, but the project file has to be very, very creative. All right, so don't bother about the word limit if you feel that, but it should not be less than 500 words, please. Minimum 500 words, maximum let it go even 1,000 words. We don't have any issue. If you feel that I need to write more so that it will be a bit more impressive, that is your choice. And you know that we don't have so much of space over there to write both the topics in an elaborate way like that. So you can write the topic as Fritz, then put a small hyphen, and unusual ghost story. That is enough. You can shorten the topics given. And last year, the mistake that was done by some of the students are, even they have written there, it should not, your answer should not exceed 700 words. All those are not the topics at all. Here you are asked to write what your topic is. No instruction you are asked to write there, only the topic. So you can shorten it. You can shorten the title if you wish. You can write Fritz, then put a hyphen over there. It's your creativity, okay? Fritz, an unusual ghost story. That way you can write. If you feel that space provided there is insufficient, I suppose there are only 4 lines. You may not be able to write the entire questions. There are 2 questions. Entire things you may not be able to write there. So you shorten them. That is number 1. Then number 2 is, in Salvatore, Somerset Maugham voices dissatisfaction with the fact that for most of the people, the things spoken about oneself are more important than the man himself. The things spoken about oneself by others, That is more important than the person himself is. That is what we come across over here in the story, Salvatore. We saw that the girl who was in love with Salvatore, as well as her parents, who heard the story about him that he is suffering from some kind of rheumatism and he will have no healing at all. That is what he heard from the other people, and that made them to sacrifice this man. So for most of the people, what we hear from the other person is more important than the man himself is. They did not think about the man. They never thought about the man. That is what, do you agree with it? That is what the question is. Illustrate your answer with the help of examples from the story. If you agree to it, illustrate from the story. Quote certain words, some incidents from the story. You can even write about what the doctor said. The doctor said that he will have no healings at all. He cannot be healed at all. That was the reason he was sent back from the battlefield to his own home. And his neighbors, whatever his neighbors have told, but the reality was something else. He was able to work and he took care of his family very well. We know how was he caring for his sons, how he cared his wife, even though he was undergoing such a kind of rheumatism in his life. So that is what you are asked to write over there. Second question. So you can shorten the question. Okay, maybe only from the things spoken about oneself are more important than the man himself is. Illustrate the truth of this statement. Something like that you can reduce the topic into. All right. That is what you are supposed to fill over there in the topic. And just under the topic, you can see in partial fulfillment of the academic requirement of class 11, the academic requirements of class 11. There will be writing 11. Up to class it is mentioned there, you need to write only 11. Syllabus during the session 2021-2022. 2021-2022. Then signature of the student, signature of the examiner. Last time in Haribari, so many students have signed the place where the examiner has to sign. And we had to ask them to come back again and change the sheets. So please be very careful where you are supposed to give your signature. It is in the left hand side, that is the signature of the student. The other part is meant for the visiting examiner to sign. If you sign over the place of the visiting examiner, where will he be putting his signature? So please read well. Everything is very clearly given over there in the printed page. Just read it, have the presence of mind and fill whatever is supposed to be filled, and don't fill whatever is not supposed to be filled by the student. That is what you have to do with related to the printed page given for English literature. Then you will start writing. The next page is meant for the acknowledgement. Everyone should have the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means the people who have helped you out in order to complete your work. Okay, almost a big paragraph will be sufficient in the form of an acknowledgement. Don't write anything, even if it finishes by half of the pages, leave the rest of the pages as it is blank. Don't write anything over there. That page is meant for acknowledgement alone. Then in the next part, you will be writing topic number 1, give the heading, elaborately the title that is given over there. The questions that are given, no? Write the first question, that is, what is a ghost story? There you have to write the entire question. There you have to write the entire question. It's already published over there in our website and you all must have seen that. So write the entire question there and start writing. You should have an introduction, then the continuation of the body of it, as well as a conclusion. But you will not be writing introduction, body and conclusion. That will not be written at all. That the reader will understand. The examiner will understand. Okay, so that is what you have to do there. Conclude it. Then after that, once one question gets over, keep a blank page. Okay, lined or unlined blank page. Just keep a blank page over there, because after each question, the examiner has to sign over there. So just keep a blank paper, then write the next question in a new page and start writing the second question. Hope you are clear of it, no? The examiner has to put his signature at both the questions, at the end of both the answers written by the candidates. Therefore, you keep a blank page once you complete one of the topics. Then you start the next topic. And one more point to keep in mind, when you write the question, make use of a pen with a different ink. Suppose you are writing the entire details with the black ink, make use of the blue pen to write the pen so that it will be highlighted. Question will be highlighted. Let both the questions be highlighted, making use of a different color of the ink of the pen than what you are using for the entire writing part. Then ultimately the next page, that is the last page for the bibliography. Bibliography means which are the sources from where you have taken the information in order to complete your project work. You can get it from the internet, you can get it from different sources, from the library, from different textbooks, wherever you are getting from your own workbook, from your own textbook, all those will be written in the form of a bibliography. 1, 2, 3 number you place for the bibliography. That's the way you will have to do with your project work, and start doing it as early as possible so that your work may not be a Herculean work later. Otherwise, it will be a big task for you in the later period of time. Normally, what happens, we all have that tendency, keeping everything for the last hour, 24th hour, no? Not only you, almost everybody has got that tendency. That is almost a human tendency. But some students are an exception to it. So now you know what you have to do in English literature. So start doing it so that later you will have sufficient time to go through it. If any correction that is supposed to be made, you will be able to do all those things easily. All right. I hope you are clear of it. Yes, Ayush. Ayush, you can ask. First
Sir, can you explain printed page that what we have to write in topic again? My net was not working.
Pardon me.
Can you explain in printed page what we have to write in topic again?
In your own way, make it shorter. I just said, for one example, Fritz, an unusual horror story, something like that. You create in your own imagination.
Okay.
Title, make the title. If you feel that space is insufficient, that is suggestion I said. You need not write exactly what I have told. So you can just shorten it in the forms of small phrases or one sentence.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Anybody else wants to ask anything? Follow every instruction clearly. Name has to be written in block letters. Other things, and I suggest you whatever is supposed to be written in the front page or on the project file, you can write everything in capital letter. It is not mandatory. Only name is mandatory, but you can write everything in capital letter if you wish. Yes, Akash Shukla. Akash.
So you said that after first topic is completed.
Yeah.
Suppose half of the
page of 3 pages to complete the first essay topic. Okay, first answer. After that, just keep a blank page over there. That's all. Just a blank page. Then you start the new topic in a new page. You will have sufficient number of pages with you, either lined or unlined, ruled or unruled. That is your choice. Whichever paper that is available in your hand, make use of a paper there in order to separate both the topics. That's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, better. Thank you. Anybody else? Hope everyone is clear of that. So as I already told, please go through the poem, read the poem, read the workbook, understand it well, and see the questions given over there. And for almost all the questions, the hint points are given, which are the points that you need to develop in order to write your answer. You have to practice that. Otherwise, you will be just writing the summary of the poem. May not be the question, may not be asked you to write about the summary of the poem. You have to give your answer according to the question. That is why the workbooks are given to you. And in the workbook, the key words that are or key sentences that the students have to write is very clearly mentioned there. So make use of that, practice it, and quote certain lines from the poems. There is nothing wrong if you by heart the poem and you are able to quote certain lines over there in order to illustrate your answer. So your answer will be perfect answers. As I told that long answer questions you will have to write in order to get the complete mark, 15 out of 15, you have to quote certain sentences from the textbook. Here certain lines from the poem, so that you may be able to score full mark. Yes, Utkarsh Pandey. Utkarsh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, on the printed page also we write, we use block letters.
That is your choice, beta, your choice. Whatever you wish to. At least in the front page of the, there also your name, I don't remember exactly. If it is mentioned there, write the name in capital letter, in block letters. Compulsorily you have to do it. Only that part is mentioned there to write compulsorily in block letters. The rest is your choice. If you wish to write in capital letter, no issue. You are asking about the front page, that is a printed page that is given to you. That is your choice,
Yes.
either capital letter or in small letter. No issue there.
And sir, preface can we attach?
Preface, no need. That's why only acknowledgement is required. No need of preface there. It is almost like a repetition. That is why purposefully we are avoiding the preface there.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Then Shalu. Shalu, please ask.
Sir, is bibliography written in complete sentences or directly we have to write the name of the source?
Which one? Complete sentences? The topic you are talking about.
Bibliography.
Pardon?
Bibliography.
Almost a kind of bass sound is coming and it is not very audible to me.
Sir, bibliography.
Bibliography. Bibliography means you have to write the reference you have written. Suppose you have taken the reference from your own textbook. Certainly you will have to take the reference from your own textbook as well as your own workbook. So 2 parts you are already getting from there itself. Then from the internet, wherever you are searching to get the points related to our topic, you write it in the form of bibliography by giving the number 1, 2, 3.
So we have to write in sentences or directly the name of the source?
The reference books, that is what is meant. Only the name of the reference books or the places that you have referred. That's all. I hope everybody is clear of related to the poem as well as the project work that you are supposed to do. And if you have nothing to ask, I am going to wind up the class. Thank you, students. Have a nice day and meet you in the next class.